President Clinton says that using business practice allows a foundation to do a lot with relatively small resources. You yourself had joined after 22 years career on Wall Street that culminated in a position as partner at Goldman Sachs. Is a secret of success of initiative partly in this business-oriented attitude?
Definitely. I think that the best, clearest illustration is the first project that President Clinton began at the Clinton Foundation. He addressed HIV/AIDS, and in 2002 he began to look at the industry and the way antiretroviral drugs were being distributed in the developing world. I think at the time there were only about 300,000 people who were receiving antiretrovirals, and there were well over 10 million who had an urgent need for it. And he looked at the economics of the pharmaceutical industry, and he concluded that the way it was being approached was as a high-margin, low-volume business. So he convinced the suppliers of the antiretrovirals to turn the model on its head into a low-margin, high-volume business. And he did that by convincing a number of governments, I believe originally 30, now 70 countries, have agreed to participate in a buying consortium. So they guarantee massive quantities of purchases of the antiretrovirals from the manufacturers. And the manufacturers get profitable long-term contracts, but at much lower margins than before. So when he started, the price per person per year for an adult receiving antiretrovirals was over $500 in the developing world. Today, it's about $160. For pediatric antiretrovirals, it was over $600, and today it's about $60. So the model has worked, and it was really bringing basic business practices, turning a high-margin business into a low-margin business that made it work.
And definitely the effort was also to further develop this network and the activities, because besides CGI, for 3 years now there has been established Clinton Global Initiative University. Do you see some different ideas, different actions, different programs being done on this level of CGI University, or there are lots of similarities?
Well, it's both similar and different at the same time. The similarities are that our students who come to CGI University focus on the same issues that we do at the annual meeting of CGI. So they focus on education and health, poverty alleviation, and climate change, as well as peace and human rights. So those are the issues that they focus on. And last year, at our most recent one, we had about 1,500 university students from around 75 countries, all 50 states of the United States, representing about 350 institutions. So there are a lot of people there focusing on similar issues as we do at the annual meeting. But the big difference is that these are students making individual commitments. So the scope of the commitments can't be as large. Individuals can make a commitment to change all the light bulbs in all the dorms on their campuses to make them more energy efficient. That's one commitment that was made. Another group of students committed to raise tens of thousands of dollars to build a hatchery for eggs for hens in Haiti to provide protein to people in Port-au-Prince. So the scale of these commitments is a little bit less, a little bit smaller than the scale of the commitments that governments and heads of state and chief executives are making at the annual meeting.
But attitude is very important, especially on that level, where the students are going to be leaders of next generation.
Exactly. That was what President Clinton concluded when he established this 3 years ago. He said that we need a way of reaching the next generation of activists, the next generation of philanthropists, so that they understand that they have a role to play in solving the great global challenges.
Mr. Knežević, who recently became a member of Clinton Global Initiative, has for 20 years been involved in pro bono activities. What support does CGI offers to business leaders seeking to create a better world?
Well, we do three things. The first is at our annual meeting, which takes place in September at the same time as the UN General Assembly each year. At that annual meeting, we spend 3 days discussing solutions to the world's greatest challenges: education, climate change, poverty alleviation, and global health. And what President Clinton tries to answer during these 3 days is, how can we move the needle? How can we address, how can we make progress against those 4 great challenges? So there are a lot of ideas that come up at that meeting that people who are participants in it can learn from. The second thing that happens is there is an opportunity for people to make connections with others who are potentially able to provide resources or to partner with those people. And so those 2 things happen at the annual meeting. And then beyond the annual meeting, throughout the year, we have 24 what we call action networks, which are smaller convenings. They are focused on narrower issues that our members are very interested in, but they take place throughout the year. So, for example, there's one on green vehicles. There's another one on violence against girls. There's another one on rethinking waste. There's one on Haiti, which has met 5 or 6 times since the annual meeting last September. So these are ways on an ongoing basis for members of CGI to continue around the year, not just at the annual meeting, to have an impact.